Hello and welcome. This is Rob Neely of Successful Messages. And in this video, I want to talk about your web browsing privacy and security. And also, just the convenience that certain web browsers, the software we use to surf the net, offer you. I might not be telling you anything new, but I do want to point out that there are choices we can make. We do have selection. We can have more privacy and more security. So these are the kinds of things I want to talk about today. So what is your favorite web browser? What do you use the most to explore the internet with? Before I mention to you what my favorite browsers are, I do want to say that normally when we're surfing the net, when we're going from website to website, there are certain things that are being tracked. For instance, each new website you go to knows the website you just came from. These things are stored in what's called cookies on your computer. When we search engines sometimes track our search history. And there are other things that are also known about us, although not necessarily personally, when we surf. There are steps we can take, and I will be talking about these. And I'm going to start by selecting my favorite browser, and that's Google Chrome. You can see Chrome here. Nice interface, lots of development has gone into it, and although it's a computer memory hog, it does have tons of flexibility, and it offers you a variety of what are called add-ons or extensions, and you can see I'm pointing to some of them now. So I would have gone to the extensions part of Google Chrome and decided that I wanted certain things in place, and I would have added them to Chrome. And that's one of my favorite ones I'm pointing at now, called LastPass, which is an online way of storing securely your passwords. So I really do like this browser. I'll get back to it as well. I'm just going to minimize it for now and say that recently I've returned to a browser that I used to use all the time, and it's called Firefox. Now Firefox has developed a new version of their product. I mean, from the ground up new version of their product called Quantum. Previously, I'd stopped using Firefox because it became sluggish on certain websites, particularly Gmail, for whatever reason. But Quantum is really a neat experience. I'm just going to pop this up and let you see. And I'd gone to the page in Mozilla, the people that make Firefox, and this page in particular talks about the new browser. And you can see one of the things they're boasting is speed, and it really is an amazingly great browser. So if you were a Firefox fan or are a Firefox fan, please make sure you've got the latest. You can see it's got a fairly slick and clean interface. It's a really nice browser to use. I'm just going to leave this up here for a little while and let you sort of scan this article. I talk about some other browsers I've used over the years. I have used Apple's Safari browser, and yes, you can use it on a PC. I've used Microsoft's Internet Explorer and its successor, Edge, and I've used a couple you may or may not heard of, Vivaldi and Brave. Now I'll get back to those two, but before I do, I want to talk a little bit more about privacy. All right? So all web browsers offer degrees and methods of privacy. Some of these you need to switch on yourself, such as private browsing. Others come by way of add-ons and extensions, and I've just shown you some of those. And the things that we really want to be concerned about might not be the fact that, okay, my websites are tracked or a search engine tracks the searches I make, but it could be a little worse than that. It could be targeted ads. It could be much worse than that, and that would be the threat of someone looking in on our private information. I think we need to be prudent and careful, but not paranoid, and we need to use all little tricks we can get if we're concerned about our privacy and security. So let me pop back to Chrome. This is a normal Chrome window, but if I point in the upper right corner, and this lets me customize this browser, you can see there's something there, the third one down, for what they call a new incognito window. This does offer you a degree of protection, and you can have a look at the screen as I'm chatting, except that this will not protect you from everything. Your browsing history won't be known. Cookies won't be saved on your computer. And info you enter in forms won't be saved, but that's not everything, right? And so you're going to have to ask yourself if that's enough for you. Or if you're not worried about it, you'll certainly just use their normal browser window. So I'm going to leave this up for a little bit and talk a little bit about Opera. Opera was originally conceived in 1994, and from 1995 until 2013 was a very popular browser. In fact, it won several awards up until that point. It was taken over in 2016, but you know what? I still like this browser very much. One of the reasons I liked it from a security standpoint was it offered something that's called a virtual private network. And I'm going to get back to that because other browsers are beginning to offer it as well. A virtual private network, or VPN as they sometimes call them, ensures that your data is encrypted before it's sent out over the internet. Now, the folks that developed Opera also developed another browser, and this is very recent. So the folks that made Opera also developed a browser called Vivaldi, and we're looking at Vivaldi now. Different interface, right? Slick, clean, kind of bold looking. Some of the controls are at the side that you normally might see at the top. So this makes for an interesting way to deal with things because these pop out to show you panels. And then I'll just close that panel. So this is pretty neat. I really like Vivaldi, and it is fairly secure as well. So Vivaldi's a joy to use, and I've been using it for some long time at this point. One of the things I like about it, besides the fact that it's fairly slick and fast, is that it's added something new in. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Now, my only criticism about Vivaldi is actually not from today's standpoint, but from years ago, when it really didn't offer much in the way of extensions or add-ins. That's all being changed, and so I'm very happy about it. So I'll talk about Vivaldi again. Right now I'm going to open yet another web browser for you to have a look at. This one's really unique. Home of the brave, right? And you know something? It is brave in terms of how fast it is, how bold it is, and how much security it offers you. In fact, Brave is super fast. I just came about it by chance, actually, when I was researching something else. The folks that made it, in their own words, they say, it represents a new way of thinking about how the web works. And indeed, that's true. It's quite a unique browser. And in fact, it's quite private by default. It was co-founded by the man who invented JavaScript and also helped to get Mozilla Firefox off and running. I want to show you something unique about Brave whenever you add a new tab. This is quite fabulous. Look at how much privacy and security you have by default. Hundreds of trackers have been blocked since I began using this browser. 259 ads have been blocked, and I've saved 37 seconds. Is this a big deal? It will become a big deal over time, and if time is valuable to you, you want to use a browser like this. So that's the Brave browser, and certainly, folks, you can find out more about all of these browsers because I've included links in an article I wrote for my website. Just go to successfulmessages.com and look at my blog posts, and you'll see this is my latest blog post. So let's just minimize this browser now and get back to Vivaldi because I want to show you something special. Vivaldi has changed the way they do their searching in the sense that they partnered with somebody recently. Now, we can always trigger a private window in Vivaldi, just like this. Click on the menu, go to File, and you can see New Private Window. And it's already private, and this just makes it more private. But they've gone one better. They partner with the company, a search engine company called DuckDuckGo, all one word. And this search engine offers you complete privacy. Now, once you add it in to Vivaldi, and that's a step you have to take, I'm going to point into the upper right-hand corner of the search box. And you might see in light gray it says Search Bing. Use Bing as your search engine provider. If I change this to this new one they've partnered with. This ensures 100% privacy because they don't track what you search. Now that's pretty wonderful, isn't it? So just before I wrap things up, I want to say again that if internet privacy and security and ease of use and even aesthetics are of interest to you, you have many, many choices. From Google Chrome to Firefox Quantum to Opera, Vivaldi, Edge, Internet Explorer, you have a lot of options. And I would say to you, experiment. Experimentation can be fun and it can be rewarding. Now, just a note about myself and successful messages. I want to ensure that your messages are what you intend them to be. I can write or rewrite or even lightly edit your English language messages to make them more effective, efficient, powerful. This might be particularly good for you if English is not your first language. The three sectors I have the most experience in, or the most training in, are education, technology, and writing. So if you're struggling to make your messages more precise or understandable, please do drop me a line, and it's easy to do. Email rob@successfulmessages.com. Thank you for viewing my video.